Welcome to my channel. My name is Mats and I am a tarot reader, taoistic numerologist, and would like to show you how it is possible to use both in one way. And therefore I'm going to use the Luo Shu, which is actually quite known by a lot of people because of the feng shui, but on the other side there's far more behind it if you go into the taoistic numerology. And before I'm going into this reading, and thank you again for your trust to let me make the video, I would like to explain a little bit of the difference between our Western numerology and the Taoistic numerology. But get me right, it's just like a tiny insight. If you want more insight, you can contact me. I can make a complete chart concerning the numerology, but here it is being used for the reading, so I'm just cutting it down to some information. The point with Western numerology is that it is a straight line. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, period. If you go a little bit further, you are going to put it into a circle. But the point is that very often you do not have any interaction between the other numbers. The interaction between 1 and 5, what is it? The interaction between 3 and 7, what is it? Are there parallels between some numbers? And so on and so on. You don't see it because actually you just have a fine line into one direction. It's a little bit like our brain. If you take the left hemisphere, this is exactly what is going to happen. You have a line. But life is not a line. Life is an interaction between different energies, between different aspects, and that is actually where I think, with my experience, and to make this absolutely well understood, my experience concerning Taoistic numerology is still quite small, even if it has been an immense insight to understand how things are working. So I'm absolutely sure that there are masters in this. I am just a beginner in a certain way. But it is so different. It's a little bit as if you would say, okay, with Western numerology you can go into one direction. Maybe you can also broaden it, but you cannot deepen it. And that is what this is doing with numbers. Taoistic numerology, as I explained, is based on the Luo Shu. A lot of people in Western cultures also know the magical square of Saturn. That's exactly the same. And as you can see, the numbers are not straight anymore in a line, but they are dancing across the fields. They call it the dance of the stars because for them it's the stars that come down to Earth and give us different aspects, different information. And this is actually the pattern I'm going to use to put the cards. So I'm going to start also in the line of 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm going to start with the card. As you see, the number 1 is here, the number 2 is there. And the numbers in Taoism, and certainly also in a lot of Far Eastern cultures, are based on the elements. They are not using the 4 elements, we are using them. Understanding that numerologically seen, 4 is a number of stability in a certain way. So we keep it here in Western ideas, we keep it in a stable point with 4 directions, with 4 numbers, with 4 elements, and so on. And in Far Eastern cultures you go into 5 elements, and that is the moment that you split it up, that you go into the action, into the movement with the number 5, which is an active number, while 4 is a passive number. You could say that 5 is a young number, so it goes into action. Yin is the 4, which gives you stability. That's okay, but it's not what you need alone if you want to go into the movement to do something with your life. So you get information, that's okay, but how to use it, this is something that is better working over a number like 5. Actually 5, even in the Western culture, 5 is the number that takes you out of the comfort zone. So it is a good one for bringing up the challenge, what to do and how to bring up the courage to do so. So every number is also based on an element. I'm going to explain this a little bit further while using a tarot, understanding that with a tarot I have 4 elements, and still it works. I tried this several times, so it works quite fine. But as I said, there is still an option to make a tarot with the 5 elements of the traditional Chinese medicine. And if anyone is eager to go into that direction, I am eager to help, because this is something that should exist in tarot. So this is actually the base that I'm going to use. Along the reading, I am going to explain a little bit more concerning the positions, as in every case of reading that you will get from me. But there's something else. As I was asking for your date of birth, it is to get a certain idea of your numerology on the taoistic point of view. As I said, I'm not going to give you a complete chart, because out of it I could do so, but this is another offer. But it gives you an idea of what position has a certain importance in a certain way. So I'm going to explain just in a short way the 4 numbers that I'm calculating. In your case, actually, you are based on 2, because the numbers repeat itself, and I will explain those positions later on a little bit further and a little bit deeper when I come to the reading. So those are the 4 important numbers for the reading. Don't get me wrong, there is a lot more concerning numerology and taoistic numerology, but those are the 4 numbers that I'm going to pick up and use in the reading to get a certain a deeper look on those positions. So first of all, it's the major number. That's like our numerology in a certain way. It's just calculated in another way, which is your energy as an adult. They also have a minor number, which is the energy of as a child, or in the position of dependency. So the moment, for example, that a person becomes sick, it can come back to this energy of the minor number. Then you have a number of stress, which is in a certain way calculated between major number and minor number, which shows this moment when you come into a situation of stress, and a little bit as if you are staggering between major and minor number, and that is the stress energy that comes out. And the root number, this is actually the energy we can set as a life goal. So sort of where, even later on as an adult, where is the good energy, where we are, well, we bring up our experience and our wisdom that we gained over the time. So to just explain shortly concerning your numerology and concerning your question that you asked, which brings it up in a very interesting way. So your energy as an adult is the number 3, which is thunder on the position of the Taoistic numerology. That is actually also your number of stress, and your minor number is the number 5, which is the place of the emperor. I'm going to explain a little bit further, and it's also your root number. So this explains that, not in a sort of a way that you say, oh, I should become a child again, but to bring in this childlike, not childish, but this childlike playful way to use the number later on, and to use it in a more evolved way and in a more easy way, in a certain way. So when I'm saying easy, it's not like yes, everything is easy, but to be at ease with a number, because it's quite a tough number in a certain way. So I'm going to switch cameras so that I can show the cards, so that I can go into the explanation, but that way you have already an all-round look at what is going to happen, and a certain idea of this is different than what we know from Western energy and Western numerology. Sorry, I missed the word. So just give me a moment to switch over. So let's bring up the cards now. I have shuffled them. I didn't want to bore you with shuffling the cards and with picking the cards, so I did this part already. and I'm going to lay them out as you have seen on the Luo Shu, the positions of the cards. So this is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you can say that you start with this card. We're going to a little bit straighter. I'm going to bring the cards closer also during the explanations. We're going through the dance of the stars, and we end up on this position at the end. And the cards, the positions that I am going to take the look of a step further will be the 3, as it is your major number and your number of stress, and it is the number 5 because it's your minor number and it's your your root number. So let me start with the position 1. The position 1 is in the taoistic numerology, it's the position of water. So it has a lot to do with subconscious. It has a lot to do with that things are in our subconscious before they can become conscious, but also that at that moment a lot of things that are happening in a flow of it can be a good or a negative, positive or negative flow. That always depends on the person, which is a flow that is a flow of life actually in a certain way. So here the card that we have is the 4 of Wands. So the 4 of Wands has in a certain way a lot to do with stability, but on the other hand it can also be a little bit of boredom. As I explained just before concerning the 4 elements that we have in Western regions, and the 5 elements that are taken, that the number 5 is the one that takes us out of the comfort zone. So it could show that this flow of life, the number 1 that you where you were or where you are in the moment being, and why the question that you are asking came up, may well be that in a certain way, yes, maybe things are going more or less the way they should, but there is nothing new in it. And especially as a number 3 in numerology, you are somebody who needs new things, and who needs things to go further, and you need that to evolve and to grow bigger, because the number 3 is the number of earth, not of earth, sorry, of wood, of young wood. So it's like a tree. Okay, a tree does not keep the same size; it needs to grow, and this is something that you need. And this is the moment the card may show you that it is actually the reason why this question comes up. It is as if you do not have a place or a next step in view to grow. Okay, to grow further, to, as you said it, to get closer to your purpose. So it's a bit like, yes, the things may be okay for the moment being, but something is missing in a certain way. So even if it seems to be okay, but it's actually only okay. It's not something that is bringing up your enthusiasm that as a 3, as a young wood you have. What is interesting, what I'm going to pick up along with it, it's a card of wands, and wands are fire. So it brings us two things. First of all, it brings us to the number 4, which is one of the positions. On the other hand, it brings us to the element of fire, which is the outcome cards in a certain way. So it can already give you a certain idea of, even if you go through those steps, it shows you, it gives you a certain hint of a warning to say, yes, even if you do those steps, pay attention that you don't end up in the same sort of pattern. So even you step out of your patterns and you create new patterns, and those patterns after some time are going to get boring for you again. So it's already a first idea to tell you, just pay attention, okay? If this is where you start from, really take care of the steps you're going to do, not that you end up at the same place you started from. As I said, it's just a small hint in that direction. The 4 actually brings you to a card. This is amazing. But I'm going to come there with the steps. The 4 is, the 4th position is the card of yin wood, which is smaller. It's not as visible as the young wood, which is outcoming and outbursting. It's the one that you see growing. You don't even see it growing. It's there from one moment at another. And so the card is also showing already a little bit into that direction. But I'm going to come back to the idea of this card when I'm going to read this card. Then we have the card number 2. Or the position number 2. The position number 2 is Earth. So there are 3 Earth positions, which is Yin Earth, the place of the Emperor, which is also the center of Earth. So actually the 5th direction that you find in Far Eastern cultures. And you have young Earth, which is the mountains, so the stability, but also the things that are not moving. But I'm coming to those places just to explain a little bit where the elements are. So on the position of Earth, you have the 9 of coins. So here you see she has 1 coin in the hand. She has the falcon next to her. And the point with the falcon is always that he has this mask, so he cannot see, and he is not yet ready to fly, to fly and to catch something. And even if it is a 9 and it is a position of coming to the end of something, this way of keeping the bird's eyes closed doesn't give you the possibility to see where your plan is going to start. With a coin card, it is an earth card, and this is an earth place. So we have the same element in a certain way. So it is as if you had actually plants in your hands, but maybe you do not know where to start. You do not know where to put the seeds. You do not want to do this first step because you do not know where it goes to. Because we have a 9, so we have the goal, and with the 9 we have the position of the outcome card of the Luo Shu. So it's as if something is blinding you. Is it something, and this is just some question I'm going to bring up, is it something that you do not see, or is it something that actually you do not want to see? Because from this first position to the 9th we have 8 steps in between, so 7 steps in between. So maybe there is 1 or 2 steps that are uncomfortable for you, and maybe that is the reason why I'm saying, actually I know where I put this coin, so the kind of seed, I know where to put it, but I don't want to put it down. I don't know, maybe there's a certain insecurity in this position. Maybe you are kept in the position because of the people around you, because of the situations there are, or maybe it's something that you are for the moment being not ready to let go. Because like a seed, if you want a seed to grow, you have to put it in the earth and you have to let go of it. You cannot dig it up each day and check if the seed is starting to grow. And this kind of trust is coming up here, and it's something like opening up. If you Google and you take a look at the trigram of this position in the Luo Shu, you will find 3 yin lines, so actually the broken lines. And the broken lines are the ones that are showing you that you open up. You have to open up to be ready for information, to take in the information, to be open to the information that may come from the outside, so that actually you open up your earth to put that seed into the position. Then the next card is the number 3. And on the 3rd position, so as I said, this is the position, first of all, because I'm going, and before I'm going to the card, this is the position which is your position. So it has a lot to do with your energy, the energy of the enthusiasm to do something new, or even to do something old but in a new way, to bring in your own ideas. The 3 goes a little bit into that direction, and I know what I'm talking about. If someone gives you one idea, you may pop up with thousands ideas, and to bring in, to find out, okay, of all those 1,000 ideas, which is the one that is going to work now, and which is going to keep me interested long enough so that I'm going to keep working on it, and not that after 2 or 3 months I am bored by it, and that is the reason why I'm not going to finish it. Because the 3 likes to start things, but is not always the person to end things. It's also your position of stress, it's your energy of stress. So if you come into that situation, dependency, or is it, can I go with my free will? Is it dependency, and you are somewhere in between? There are stress situations, you, in a certain way, you try to cling to this, and then you want to do something new. You may not be the person to go on and say, okay, now I'm going through what is going to happen. No, I rather put it aside and try something new. And actually here you end up with a card, with a death card. And I'm not going to go into that direction. Oh, you know, in tarot, death card is never death or something like that. Let me bring it to the point. I don't want to talk about the idea that there may have been a physical death of a person in your life right now. Okay, this is something you know. I cannot tell you about it, but it may well be about mourning, about anything. It may be a plan that you had, and you did not bring it to the end, or something was, you were cut short of something, and that was the reason why you could not bring it to the end. To mourn this, so that actually you can let go of this also without any kind of guilt, that you think, yes, but it is again something that I am not finishing, but to say, okay, but to start something my heart really goes into, I have to let go of this, and I have to let go maybe of this idea that there was a failure, because maybe it was not a failure. Maybe it's just a judgment, and you have now the right to let go of this, so that you can bring up something new. You can bring forth something new. Whatever the ideas you had for the moment being to come closer to your purpose, to bring up your question, it was not it. That whatever you tried until now, it was not it. And what brings it very close and clear to me that that was not it is actually the next card. The next card is the card, the position of wood, but yin wood, so the fine, the soft growing. Okay, maybe the plants that you had were too quick, and that is the reason why they couldn't grow properly. Now you come into a feeling and into an energy where it says, okay, whatever it is, what is your purpose, you are not going to go there if you try it in a quick way. You have to bring patience forth. Just concerning the position, the card alone is the Emperor, and with the Emperor it brings you to another position, and I have at that moment, I have to bring it in, not going into the direction of the Emperor in itself, but to go to the position in itself. The 5th position, actually, if you have people who go into the direction of feng shui and explaining things about the Batsa, then they say, oh, the 5th position, no, that's the bad position, and nobody knows to do something with it, and so on. So people around, especially in Western ideas. But it is also, you have to, let me explain this. All those places, and the word place is actually quite interesting, because it is based, it has the same etymology like the word palace. Place and palace is the same word. So those are palaces, okay? And the Emperor is the one in the middle. If you check on the trigrams, you will find out you have 8 trigrams, which are the ones wrong, but this 5th position does not have a trigram, for example, for the I Ching or so on. So it is the position of the emperor. It is the middle. It is the one who has the right to ask for everything, but he has also to be flexible enough to care for all the palaces around and all the people and the positions that are around. So whatever he's asking for in his power, he doesn't do it simply for himself, but this is the way he can nourish all those other places. So the emperor in itself, to pick up this card, has a lot to do about also this caring. So I'm not forget, it's here we have the 4, but I'm going for the word for the moment being. So it's for the caring. So actually you have and it's Marchetti, it's not everyone who calls it the emperor. Just find out, just remember. So it is the point that the position of power we are talking about is something that is actually here, and whatever power it is to nourish the other ones. So you have the right to ask for things. With the 4, it is completely on the right position. It shows you that an emperor is not something, you are not born an emperor, you are not born a leader, you are not born anyone. Also, you are not born a caring mother or a caring person to care for others. First of all, like nature, like the plants, you have to start and grow your own roots, so that at the end you are strong enough to nourish other ones. I'm bringing up a very simple thing of yin wood energy. Imagine grass. If grass is not completely rooted and animals come to eat from it, then they will tear out the grass with the roots, and then the grass is going to die, is going to be eaten, and is not going to be able to grow again to nourish someone else. And this is actually the link that you have here between those two positions. So you have to bring in this patience. Whatever you did before seemed to be too quick, and now it brings you again, be patient. Let me check. I mean, the point is, you are not 90 years old, okay? So you all have still time to grow strong, to grow wise, to grow knowledgeable. I don't want to say intelligent, okay, because I don't consider you to be a stupid person right now. So I don't want to say that you have to become intelligent, but you have to grow in the way to use your intelligence that you have, okay? So, and before you were too quick in it, now you have the possibility, and here is the point that shows you it's a 4th card, the card number 4, so it's on the right position to grow slowly and steadily, but it's the emperor, which is the position that comes up here. And then we come to the position number 5, which is the position of the emperor. And here you have the temperance, and again it shows this. The temperance is a card of making those, not simply those small steps to grow into something, but also to take the time to make the correct mixture between things. Okay, she has the two cups in her hands, and she tries to make the correct mixture, and she's in between those two worlds in a certain way. And as the emperor, you will be in between the two worlds. You are the one who takes from one world into another. Even concerning Taoism, you will, if you are going into that direction to if this is interesting you, it's a little bit like the emperor is the one between heaven and earth. So he takes the heavenly energy and brings it to earth to nourish all the others. So it's really that position. And here you see she's in between those two worlds, the temperance. This is actually the point. And this is also your position as the minor number, but also as your root number. So it may be that as a minor number, this was that maybe as a child you were always in between, and people always turned to you already as a child, and you had the feeling that you had to be the one who has to keep the things together. But now you can go into that same energy as an adult to say, okay, I can share my knowledge with other ones. If they want to keep together or not, that's their part of responsibility. But at least I know that I did the correct thing and I did my part in it. And the way that you may have a certain responsibility towards other ones later on, but not the guilt if it does not work. So to make the difference between what is your part in it and what is not your responsibility. Okay, you can only give. You can also tell the other ones, as in the position of the emperor, try this as a temperance. You're not going to force this upon someone. You're not going to say you have to do this. You're going to go into the direction, say, have you ever tried this? To go softer with it in a certain way. But on the other hand, you know exactly if the other one's like sort of, nah, and I don't want to try it, well, then don't ask me for help, so that you get a better balance between what is your responsibility and what is not part of your responsibility, and you cannot be considered to be guilty if it does not work. So maybe it has a lot to do, as it's the same number, maybe it has something to do with also mourning that trauma and healing that trauma, because Death card and Temperance are just in the line, so it's number 13 and it's number 14, they are one after another. So when you do the mourning, you go into the healing part to be able to let go of whatever happened in your childhood, so that now you can take full responsibility of your power, of your force, and to use it in a way you did not have the opportunity to use it as a child, because other requests were pressed on you and you did not have the possibility to say, this is not a request for me, but you try to help because you try to be a good child. I hope this makes sense to you in a certain way. Now then we go back, we go further on the line, and we come into the position of the 6. And the 6 has its metal, it's yang metal, and that's a tough one, it's a harsh one, it's a metal that cut. It's not a fine metal that makes fine cuts, no, it can be a very painful one. And yet here you have the 3 of Cups. So actually with the Cups we bring in a feeling of softness that this position normally does not have. So it shows you that even if, to go back to what I just said here, that you have the right to say no if people, you can offer your help, but if people want you to help them in the way they imagine help and not the way you can offer it to them, then you have the right to make a cut, because the metal is also the position of making boundaries, saying no, knowing exactly where your boundary starts and where the other one stops. The people are not stepping over your boundaries, for example. So, and you see it is here in a very playful way. We have it with the 3 of Cups, with has a lot to do with a certain playful way, because the 3 in the Western energy is the energy of the more playful thing, the more happy thing in a certain way. And as I said, you have the Cups, so you go with the water. The water is nourishing metal. So again, it's to be a little bit more nourishing about about yourself. A sentence I read very often over the last weeks is, be a little bit kinder to yourself. And this is a little bit this idea. And it's the 3. The 3 is your number. Okay, it's your position. It's actually, and I think it's very interesting, because you have here the people, the women are in the clouds, and the number 3 in the taoistic numerology has a lot to do with its thunder. So you have the clouds. Okay, so it's a little bit like, if you have that position and you find out now that you try to find out about your purpose, as I said, your purpose may well be to help other ones, but also on your ideas. So now we come into the position of where are the boundaries, and you can show them playful in the beginning, but the clouds are there, sort of, okay, I don't need to just use a hammer and to hit them on the fingers of someone else who is stepping over those boundaries, okay? I can show this playful with a nourishing way of the water, but I am giving them the warning. The clouds are there, and the clouds can well become a thunderstorm if you do not stop stepping over my boundaries. So I think it may have something to do with your childhood, where a lot of people ask things from you, step over your boundaries, over your capacities that you had as a child, and that now you have the possibility to say no. Not simply because I do not have the capacity, but no, this is something I do not want to do, because out of an ethical thing, because of I don't have the time for this right now. I can help you until this part and that's it. And that maybe now you have the possibility. So it's not simply your purpose, but maybe also what you have to learn in life, and that the purpose of why you are here and what you have to learn fit into each other in a certain way. So to find out that now as a grown person you have the possibility to use this power that you had as a child, but in a more sane way, in a more healthy way for yourself. Now we come to the yin metal. The yin metal, those are the fine things, where you go into the details in a certain way. And here you have the hermit, and also the hermit with a 9 as a great arcana brings you back to what will come at the end, and it shows you maybe the details. So whenever you are going to make this way, this card is showing you that from time to time make a stop, check with your subconscious, check with your, not simply with your objectives, with your goal, but also with the reason why you go into that goal. So make your shadow work in all this to be sure that the next step you're going to do is correct, not simply in the step you're going to do, but also in the reason why you're doing it, because the hermit is showing you that. It's a little bit the inner guide, I am saying. And for you, you do not need an inner guide that is pushing you towards something, but who's showing you the small details that may be missing for you to make the next step in the right feeling, in the right energy, and so on. And from the position 7, we go into the position of the 8. The 8 is the mountain, so it's again earth. As I said, those are the 3 earth cards. This is the young earth, and the young earth has a lot to do with the foundation, so something that is strong, something that will hold on, where what is going to endure in a certain way. And in this position you have the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is the number 5. So actually your purpose card, your purpose position, your purpose energy, all this I have been talking about. So here it is showing again, and it's interesting because take a look at your first card. Here you had your 4 boundaries, and here you have your 4 boundaries. So the step of boundary that you're going to develop here, where we have been talking about, you are going to set them really. Maybe you are going to rebuild an ethical image inside of yourself that is going to set that boundary, so that you are not going, if someone is asking you to do something, for example, and you're so, oh yes, and then 2 days later say, oh, I forgot completely about my boundaries. No, this is in the mountains. It is something that will be absolutely clear, and whenever someone comes to you later on, you will not even have to ask or explain your boundaries. The moment you are going to explain this person, this is what I'm going to do, that is how I can help you, the person is not going to question it with this and on this position. Because first of all, it is your number 5 position, and the number, it is the set of the 4 that here may still be a little bit flowy because it was in the water. Now it is set in stone, really in stone, to see that, to show that, without having to explain it to everyone. And it is, as I said, it is in the mountain position, so in the place where you are going to set it in stone. This is important so that you can go into your purpose. Maybe your purpose is already clear for you, but it is the thing around that you have to build in a certain way. And from there, we go into the last but not least position, it's the number 9. So interesting enough, the moment you have the position of the fire and logically of the sun, what you have here is the moon card. And the moon card is again showing you that even if you come into that direction and into this idea, the position of fire is also the one that the fire, the sun is the one who's shining onto the moon, so that the moon can shine. You can go into this full idea of intuition. You can show your intuition. Maybe, as I'm saying, I don't know all of your life, or I don't know all of the details, let me say like this. Maybe whenever you try to give advice to people, you were too much into this, how can I please other ones, that you did not let your intuition speak. You were not in your flow. So we come back to, we have in a certain way a water position here, a water card. So it shows this. If you are in this is the outcome, this is what is going to show, then it is that now you have the possibility to be in a full flow, and you can show that flow, you can show that intuition, and as the boundaries are set, people are not going to question this intuition anymore at the end. So it's not, I have the feeling about, for the moment being, you trusting your intuition, because this is not a subject that comes up here, but it's more like, heal whatever there was as a child, where maybe you were the intermittent, or you were the medium between things, and you did not know how to handle it because you were a child. And now you bring up this idea of boundaries, to set them absolutely clear and straight, and then there is space for your intuition to speak out, and nobody's going to question sort of, you have a feeling, yeah, you have a feeling, what do we know? That moment, if then, after you do all this, you tell someone, my feeling says something else, people are going to listen to your feeling. I hope this gives you a certain idea of how to go into that direction to come closer to your purpose. I have the feeling, when I take a look at the cards and about the steps and different, the different steps through the cards, that it has a lot to do with things that have to be released from the past. But it's your life, so maybe you see the cards differently. I can only hope that this is helping you a little bit, and that you also get a certain insight of how the cards, with our Western ideas behind, can fully fit into the idea of the elements of the TCM and the Luo Shu of the taoistic numerology. I hope this gives you a certain insight. I hope you can do something with this. Again, thank you for your trust that I could make this video, and well, maybe I hear from you. Thank you.